It's once again that time. It's time for the Making Geeks podcast, a podcast for makers, dads, and geeks. And today we have Mr. Josh Price with us.
Hello.
And of course, Mr. Mark O'Keefe.
What's going on?
And in third place, Mr. Wes Swain.
Third place. Oh, I'll take it. How you guys doing?
And bringing up the rear like usual. Actually, that didn't really sound very good, but I'm trying to like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We're going by height.
I won't say it that way again, but okay. How you guys doing this week?
Very well.
I'm good.
Pretty good.
Even though we had an
How are
episode
you?
that came out a couple of days ago, it's been a little bit over a week since we've talked, right?
Yeah. 2 weeks?
A little bit of time.
Technically our first one of the new year, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Is
so.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Now that the craziness is past and things have settled and we can all breathe and get back to our normal schedules.
I'm almost there. I'm not at normal yet, but I'm getting there.
Well, you're at
Little
your
by little.
normal craziness, not your craziness plus holiday.
I don't want that to be a thing. I'm really tired of that
Well,
being a
it's-
theme.
No,
Yeah, well,
we
that's-
just call
that's
this
gonna
life.
end.
Maybe at least some sort of consistency and stability and dependability. Maybe we should look at it that way.
Yeah, that's what we're shooting for.
Yep, same here.
What you guys been working on? Wesley, saw you in a magazine the other day,
Yeah. Well,
flipping through on the toilet, and then you're sitting there in the back right before you get to the robot kits.
yeah, my Thwomp project apparently has like really long legs and it just keeps going. So yeah, I got an email, was it last year, which is not that long ago, from a guy at Make. He wanted like a high resolution photo of the thumbnail that I used for the video. And I had posted it originally in Makershare. That's the most recent platform I posted it on, which is Make's kind of answer to Instructables in a way. And I guess they have like a showcase where they feature some people from that platform to sort of hype up the people and also hype up the platform to get more energy in there. And so they wanted a pick for that little segment. And apparently there's 9 people in like the little article, and I'm the first one, which is super cool. And
I'm curious, how many of those 9 do you actually know?
I just skimmed through them. I actually don't
Oh.
think I know any of them, surprisingly.
I'm surprised too. You tend
Yeah.
to know everyone.
But today I was on the makezine.com website homepage, along with Izzy Swan and Evan and Caitlin. I was the bigger picture. It was pretty cool. So, a little personal achievement. It's a good way to start the new year, for sure.
So how many times is this now that you've been featured on the Make site?
That's a good question. Maybe 3 or 4. Maybe not the homepage, not like the splash page. Like if you go today of the day of the recording, my Thwomp picture takes up like half of the, like
No,
Above the
your
fold.
picture takes up 2/3 of the picture.
it's pretty large. And they use like
That's pretty
the
awesome.
low resolution picture from like a screen cap of the video, so it looks terrible. I don't know why they didn't use the one I actually sent to the magazine, but whatever. I'm not going to complain too much.
Make actually lowers the resolution of all their pictures.
Hmm.
Even on the if you look at the written articles, like all the things that I've written and turned in,
Yeah.
they lowered the resolution, I guess, for their own bandwidth and storage purposes. I think. But oh
Fair
well.
enough. But it was exciting. Yeah, and then besides that, what I've been making, I've been weathering and sort of aging a Yoda animatronic toy that I got a couple years ago on clearance at Target. So I'm adding some detail to his skin and shredding his clothing up a little bit, and even adding some hair plugs just for men, just for little green men. So right now he looks like Gandalf meets Raiden from Mortal Kombat. So I need to figure out how to frizz his hair up a little bit. But
He actually kind of reminds me of, if you remember at the end of Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, when the guy takes the cup out of the wrong chalice and his hair grows out. And turns, that's who it kind of reminds me of.
But I'm in Twitch streaming 3 times this week. The progress of that, which is surprising. A lot of the quote unquote regulars that show up once every 6 months when I decide to stream, and they're like, "Holy crap, 3 streams in a week! What is going on?" So that was kind of nice. So hopefully I want to set the new year off with more energy and try to
Be everywhere.
Be everywhere, yeah. And even the local
Venables
yeah.
shot you a
That's
tweet
right.
the other day too.
They did. I'm gonna say it's thanks to you for dropping that knowledge earworm.
Sure. There were a lot of things discussed at my trip to Venables that have panned out for a lot of people. Good for them. Good for them.
Well, just to take a feather out of their cap, I actually took my Inventables controller off my CNC machine, replaced it with a $100 one, and it works beautifully. Has not messed up yet.
I was talking to Bob about that when we talked about they retweeting you and that whole backstory. I was like, oh, and he just took the Inventables right out of that machine. Like, he ripped the brain out.
I did.
Right as he was just being boasted about.
I gave it a lobotomy, and it's amazing. It looks super ghetto right now, but it works. It has not messed up once since I did that. Knock on wood.
Sweet.
What about you, Mark?
I've been in the software world for the past couple weeks, trying to find answers to things that I don't know if anyone's looking for answers for. So it's been interesting and frustrating, to say the least.
ZBrush or camera stuff?
I'm trying to get my models into ZBrush. Now I can get the models into ZBrush. I can't get the colors into ZBrush. Because when I export, have you ever seen a 3D texture PNG where it looks like they skinned someone and just put it flat?
Yep. UV map.
Well, yeah, the way Skinect does it is really weird. Like, it takes a whole bunch of squares and a whole bunch of sections of it, and it's like lined up throughout the whole thing. And I haven't the faintest idea, because that's the only way it'll export the UV map. So, the texture UV. So, right now I'm trying to see if I can extract that from an OBJ file. And some people have had success in MeshLab, so I'm trying to figure out that process right now, but it's just...
Send me some of the files and I'll try it in Maya, see what I can do.
Yeah. It's weird, though, because there's not a lot of people use Skinect, and anyone who's doing 3D scanning isn't doing it quite as low budget as I am for what I'm trying to do.
Are you saying that you're having trouble lining up the texture map with the model?
No. I'm saying I don't think Skinect exports a traditional texture map.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because, let me...
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, this is all new to me, and
It's new to Josh as well, I think.
How
Yeah.
about, hear me though, you 3D print whatever your model is, and then you wrap it in like cellophane, and then you cut it up and then smush it flat, and take a picture of it.
That's actually pretty similar to...
Yeah.
They actually have specific texture files with number patterns on it that are used to help line up certain things like that.
Boom. Done. You're welcome.
Next.
right.
Who else got a problem? Can be fixed with cellophane and scissors.
Sounds like somebody's been watching Evil Ted Smith.
Hold on, I'm putting the Sean, so you can see what Sean and Wes, so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm putting the I just sent it in the text messages for Skype.
Okay.
It's a cool audio podcast moment that we're having here.
Yeah, look at this.
Wow, look at
Look
that.
at this thing. Wait, where did Skype go?
I'll leave and go get the cellophane.
Oh.
And then we could this whole thing could just break down.
He just broke our video by whatever he just did.
Yeah, I have
Annoying.
no idea what the hell just happened.
All right, maybe
So,
I'll just
what are
go
you
then.
making, Sean?
I just finished a video that's been 4 months in the works, which is that CNC sign I did of my logo several months ago, but finally just finished the video. I finally got that up. And now I have 3 other projects I'm kind of working on simultaneously. I don't remember if I talked about this on the podcast before, but I found an old stereo cabinet, an old 70s stereo cabinet, which has all the speakers, the stereo components, all in one on the side of the road, like from the 1970s. And all the components are fried. There's really no use in restoring any of that, but the cabinet is really cool. So I'm gutting it. I'm going to put some drawers and doors on it and turn it into kind of a Lego cabinet and storage area for my kids' stuff. And so that's kind of in the process, along with what else was I was working on? I don't know. I have like 2 or 3 things going on at once, and just trying to work on whatever I can in the process. How about you, Josh?
We've been getting ahead, which is kind of nice. I think we're now 2 videos ahead. What's today? Today's Thursday. So the double bunk bed video got released today, which is kind of fun.
That's cool. I like the design.
Yeah, that was a really fun design. That design went all over the place. It went from looking like a pig pen in the beginning to looking super minimalist, and then Jenny, Bob's wife, not liking things and going back and forth, and finally we stuck to something. So that was a cool build. It turned out really, really good. But we did a new intro. Did you guys catch that?
No, I
Like
might
at the
have missed
beginning
that.
of the video? See, I told them people weren't even going to notice. So at the beginning of this video, the like little I like to make stuff theme music, where it's got the really quick shots of like the tools, like all those are new.
Oh, I completely zoned out.
I told them there's going to be a lot of people that are going to notice, and then people
Normally I
are
would pick up on
absolutely
that kind
not
of
gonna
stuff, but I
notice.
think Samantha wanted to watch it at the same time, so I think I looked away at that moment.
Yeah, so that's been this week, and we finished that this morning before that video ran out. Which is funny because there's 8 shots of like tools and like actions being done, and I am 5 of those 8 shots.
Is the music the same or is the music different?
The music's the same,
That's why I
but
didn't
the
know.
shots are different. Yeah. So yeah, that got done. We've been working on 2 other projects. One is Nintendo related, which is kind of nice,
Oh, that's kind of different.
and another is like a practical piece of furniture that we needed for the office, and it's done too. So now we just keep. It's nice to build like a buffer, but it sucks. Well, it doesn't really suck, but our editor Forby, like he edits all the videos and does all the plans, and we did 2 videos that have plans associated with them. Like, and he's now like every day I'm like, hey, there's more video in there. Like, hey, there's another video ready, and like, oh, there's another one ready. There's an ad that's in one of the videos coming up. I think it's the next one that I shot and I edited. So see if it looks seamless, then we know I did a good job. What else? We started building the gigantic CNC the other day on the Twitch stream.
I saw that picture.
Yup.
Good God, that thing is huge and it is heavy. Yeah, but that was fun. Wes, you were in there, right? I saw
I was,
you were
yep.
having like a sidebar conversation every once in a while when I'd peek at the screen.
Yep.
We were talking about time travel.
I was trying to interject in that, but you guys kept looking away when I posted my question, so.
Oh.
It's okay.
It was pretty fun.
That was cool.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to this week. And then we had some stuff, housing inspection for our house that we're buying. It's plugging along. So hopefully by the end of the month, I'm going to get my own house. My own stuff. Stop using everybody else's. So, Sean, what do you want to talk about today? You got a pretty interesting topic.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about something for a while, and hopefully I could kind of articulate this in a kind of a clear way. And anybody that's part of the making groups, people we've talked about before, will kind of understand this a little bit more directly. If you haven't been, I'll try to kind of explain. And then a lot of people that get the making bug by watching YouTube also gets the content creation bug. So, it's not just the fact that you want to make things, but it's also the fact that you want to create content and possibly get some of the attention and the appearance of success that a lot of people that we know have been able to do. And for some people, that they've gained a lot of success. And by success, I'm saying a lot of subscribers, a lot of views, if we're going to measure that way for content creation. And it paints like a really interesting picture of what it means to be a maker, and it might even change the perception a little bit. So the question that we were talking about earlier was, does it seem like the pursuit of being a maker on YouTube or through creating content take away from the process of making? Is it getting in the way of like developing that skill? Because it seems like the goal might be more to
commercialize it.
To commercialize it, gain attention. There is money to potentially be made. It's not really easy to do, but that illusion is there. Does that start taking away from the skills that we ideally or arguably should be building instead of, looking for that kind of attention or success? Now, I'll leave it as a base, and we can kind of take it in whatever direction we want.
I would say for the building skills versus the putting out content. We kind of earlier we talked about the king of random and how Grant Thompson flat out said, like, you have to do, or he has to do shorter, like easier videos because economically it makes sense. You can put out, 5 really tiny, easy to do, like low effort videos and reap all of the views and like the AdSense money from that, rather than doing like one big intensive skill building outside of your comfort zone video. So I would say for people that are looking to make it a career and are looking to make that big jump, like getting your name out there and like saturating the market and having to make something every single day, it takes a lot of effort. Like just the editing and uploading stuff takes a lot of effort, let alone what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to learn a new skill, like, unless your channel was like, watch me learn a skill, instead of like, here's a piece of actual, trusted and verified, woodworking or metalworking or whatever it is, it's hard to build those skills when you have such a, if that is your goal, to make like a quick turnaround and constant release. But Wes, you've kind of done both. I mean, your videos take a while to come out, but you definitely dive into completely different skill sets. And so people can watch you grow. And obviously it's gotten a lot of attention and a lot of traction, but you do have those big spans in between video release traditionally.
Yeah.
Because you are learning how to do something all over.
Yeah, that's true. It's not conducive to channel growth, for sure. But it's sort of, I have to figure out what my ultimate goal is. If it's on a personal achievement sort of thing, just like I said, skill building, skill acquisition, just for improving my own repertoire or skill set, that has its own value versus exposure and all the numbers and analytics that go along with being a content creator on a social platform. It's hard to balance those for me sometimes, and I keep teeter-tottering on what the ultimate goal is for geeksmithing. I mean, I would love it to be like the answer to what I do once the kids are in primary school full-time. during the day. You know, I could go back to testing video games or computer repair or some other thing that I did for a while that I enjoyed, but ultimately I would love to have like a foundation of some content and people knowing who I am, you know, sort of to launch off full-time, whether that's full-time content creation or full-time making stuff for people, you know, whichever avenue that goes down. If it's like prop building just, or contracts like I did for Fatherly when they just had me build something for their channel sort of thing. So I don't know, it can go a lot of different directions. I don't even know, I release videos so infrequently and also Twitch stream so infrequently. I'm not sure what my audience really wants from me because I don't really connect directly with them through those video releases like a lot of other people do. You know, that's the time they chat with their most of their audience is when they release a new video. You know what I mean. So I'm not really sure what people expect from me. If they want more videos, or if they like them to be staggered, I don't know. What do you guys think? Or should we have a race to a subscriber count, Sean? Should we first one at 10K? Buys the other dinner and.
I'm trying. I am trying so hard. It seems so elusive, and that's kind of one of the tough things that even kind of prompted the question, because, you know, I have to kind of have the same consideration that you're talking about. Like, what is my goal?
Mm-hmm.
I really, really, really love content creation. And the process of making is really therapeutic for me, and I like being able to create something tangible. But I've always felt like what I'm doing is creating entertainment, and I love that. But the thing is that I also don't want spectacle. I don't want to be a vlog channel. I don't want to be the channel that does these outrageous things. I want people to enjoy what they're watching, have a good time, and hopefully learn something. So it's a combination of those three things, along with, you know, bring my family into the experience. And one of the reasons I was thinking about this, actually there's a lot of reasons why I was thinking about this. I was watching one of the Jay Bates videos. And for those who don't know, Jay Bates is a really, really incredible maker, very skilled, and over like the past 3 years, I think, I've seen his skills go through the roof. And I was watching one of his videos, and he's basically talking about the entire process in teaching how to, what was he doing? He was framing up a door or something like that. And the knowledge that he's acquired by doing that. And I was thinking, you know, I don't know at what point I would ever be able to get to that. And I would have to almost dedicate just time to studying and practicing and not doing the content creation, because I wouldn't be able to create something compelling, you know, during that time. So like there's this battle of, okay, content creation, I want the views, versus making the development of a skill more important.
Well, even he's had to address that earlier on in his channel. I mean, he was a power tools guy because he never had the time to put into hand tools, or it was just never interesting enough to do it. And he was kind of anti-hand tools for a while. And then he started doing it. I think he made like a dovetail box, and then he made a wall dedicated to hand tools, and now there's a lot of hand tool stuff on there. So his channel went from, you know, making things the way that he traditionally knew how, and it was conducive of making like a faster turnaround content schedule, to going to hand tools, to building those skills, which that led to a whole different demographic of people that found his work interesting as well. So it's kind of a balance.
And I'm not sure if that was a more difficult transition for him since he's a full-time maker, compared to where I'm doing this on the side in addition to a bunch of other things. And, you know, there's even less time that I have to dedicate to that.
Mm-hmm. It's a thinner slice of that pie that is your day.
Yeah.
Well, what about the people that we would interact with more regularly, that were like the almost 100,000 subscribers that are now into the several hundred thousands or even into the millions? And people that we could talk to, you know, regularly are now TV show, you know, personalities, or have an entire like master series class dedicated to what they're doing. And like, that rapid. It seems like you mentioned rapid expansion. Like a lot of people, like April Wilkerson, who is an amazing craftswoman and an amazing maker and just a super awesome down to earth person. Like on her Instagram, she's building a shop that I thought was a house.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that thing's pretty big.
Yeah, and she's a TV star now. And Jimmy DeResta's on the new NBC. Yeah, she's on I forgot what TV show that she's on. Something about home hacks or something on the DIY network. I don't know if it's actually got picked up. But yeah, she's got.
I didn't know that either.
Yep. Jimmy DeResta now. I mean, not that he needed any more acclaim than he already had, but he's on Making It, the NBC show with Nick Offerman and Amy Poehler.
When does that come out? Soon?
I have no idea.
Couple months still, I think.
He's on This Old House again, right?
Yep.
This week.
I mean, I think some of these people are an exception, and Dresta, of course, is an exception. He's a lifelong maker who's been building these skills over a number of years, and it's been the last 5 years where the content creation has actually come up more into place. I don't know if I think my question was geared more to people maybe just starting out, or even maybe us, because we're in kind of like an interesting spot too with our skills in making.
I don't think Jimmy DeResta is he's not protected from this. Like, you could listen to his podcast where he's saying that he's got like dips in his subscriber growth or in views, and it's because he's growing all these skills. Like, he got into printing, like, printing presses, and a lot of restoring a whole bunch of old machines and things that he's not putting out as much like Jimmy DeResta content. And so he talks about it on their podcast. That he's like, I got to make more stuff. And now he's putting videos a little more frequently that are like his older videos. So I don't think he's immune to it. That he wants to build a new skill that may not be conducive to a video, but that's hurting analytics and channel growth and all those other things those metrics that people think are successful in that venue, rather than just growing a skill or.
Are you as a content creator dictating your content, or are you letting the analytics dictate your content? Where's the line drawn? And at what point do you teeter from one to the other? Like, is there a certain benchmark where people start slipping the other direction, or not that it's a slip in a negative direction, just over the crest of the mountain, over the top? Who's really in charge of your channel?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it depends on how much of a livelihood it is for you, I guess, too,
Right, and I think earlier what you said is about your motivation. Like, what do you want your channel to be?
Yeah.
Are you doing it for acclaim, and are you doing it for the hopes of fame and wonder, or are you doing it to add to a community? Because one demands a lot more attention and relies a lot more on, the masses. And the other is just you putting stuff out there to make other people better.
I'll say from a personal standpoint that just a little bit of success and just a little bit of attention is really, really, really seductive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was really early on. It was only my second or third video where I got featured in Make, when I really didn't know what I was doing. And that really gave me this false perception of, hey, I'm on my way. And it really was not the case at all. Channel views and all that stuff aside, I'm still just figuring things out. And if I had that foresight earlier on, I might have taken a different approach to how I tried growing the channel, or what projects I was choosing to do, depending on what I thought would get more attention or what I thought would be popular. When in reality, it feels like I have no control over any of that stuff. What I think is my best project and best video does not have that many views at all. But strangely enough, I think that one helped with a lot of different skill building. So,
So I know Bob. There you go.
Go, Josh.
I know that Bob has mentioned this very topic, that he has a release date, and it's Thursday, and he personally like has always tried to stay to that release date and doesn't want to like let people down or not be so like a slave to the analytics, but at the same time he's got to put food on the table for more than one family. So he had mentioned wanting to like not be so stringent to that schedule so he could do longer projects, and this bunk bed set was one of those because it took a little longer. The holidays came around, and so there was a gap. And that bunk bed video today has been, I go by acceleration rates, like per how many views per hour, like I see if we did good or have not been doing good. Like this is ahead of the curve, like quickly ahead of the curve, and it's got a lot of really positive feedback already. So being a slave to the analytics and to the schedule, if your skills have grown or if you have like done enough legwork to make the thing that after that gap strong enough, then that gap doesn't seem to matter. So if you did take some time off, but what happened after that break caught enough people's attention, then it was worth it. If you're making like slingshots out of bottle caps and stuff, and you take a couple weeks off and you make just different slingshots out of different bottle caps or bean bags or whatever, and people may or may not find that as appealing as they just liked you because you posted every day or whatever. So I don't know. I'm hoping that people are going to forgive me for having such a long hiatus, because I'm still trying to figure out what in the world our channel is supposed to be, and I'm at such an identity crisis, which is worse now than it was when I was having it earlier on. But I don't know what to do. Whatever I come up with better be the best video ever for these people that have stuck around this long. Maybe I'll have to blow up the RV.
There's a whole channel for that
Get
sort
you
of
a
stuff.
lot of views.
Call Colin first. I'm sure he'll help with it.
Crush it in like a hydraulic press or something.
That's right. I can melt it down.
Let's all start a hydraulic press channel. I hear those do really well.
Water jet it in half.
I cut it with a 10,000 degree knife.
Right.
What if there was a channel that was a hybrid of all the popular channels? So let's cast it in epoxy. Let's smash it with a hydraulic, press, and then I don't know, light it on fire. Not a good representation of that, but
And screw some pocket holes into it.
And painted purple.
paint it purple,
Painted purple. Fancy.
extra fancy.
So I guess we're trying to like address the natural progression of people in this community, right?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of different things, but I think it does ultimately lead to that.
Are we surprised by it because it's so new and untapped that the cream that has risen to the top doesn't even really know where to go? And so now people are going into TV shows or like, sure, like who'd have thought this person, April, let's take April again, like just wanted to make some nice looking things for her house, made a flip up miter saw stand, got a lot of traction because of the other great stuff that she eventually started to do, and now she's TV star.
I think it was inevitable for some people. I think some people were destined to be in front of the camera that way, and they're the ones finding their way there first. But I think there are some also more unexplained successes too. But
Well, with your first logic, Andrew Setter's where you at then? Because you're an anchor man. You're in front of the camera all the time. That logic should translate.
I told him one time I was going to pay him just to use his voice for voiceovers.
Yep.
He needs to like be in the middle of a nice broadcast and just have like a hammer like come up from underneath. Just put it back down real quick. I'm like, ooh, that guy must build stuff. And then just HGTV, let it rain all over him.
That's one of my favorite videos, is where he tortured a Elmo.
Oh, that's
Nice.
right.
That's one of my favorite videos of a maker, man. I love that video. Tickle Me Elmo torture. It's great. Got to show notes that, Sean.
Yeah, I will definitely.
But I can speak for Bob and the I like to make stuff kind of stuff. That the success that he's had, like he has put in a lot of work, like to get where he is. And so if you're the maker out there who is like Sean, like you're saying, who has had one cool video and has seen a lot of spike, and hope to just ride that, you got to put in the work. And I'm speaking from the person that does not put in the work. Like, I put the work into his stuff and not my own, and it is 2 people, almost 3 people's full-time job to keep that ship going and keep that train moving.
Now, that may be the case, but I'm also going to say that I guarantee that there's a little bit more to it than that. Because if I put in the same amount of work as Bob, I would not be in the same place he is. There's still something about the individual that's a little bit different and special, too. I don't think we can take that away. Okay.
Yeah, if Wozniak was in charge or in front of the camera at Apple, nobody would want to buy that computer.
And that's why my views are low. Wozniak isn't supposed to be in front of the camera.
Yeah. But it's
too
not
many
just
Wozniaks.
It's not just the video, and there's so many things that he thinks about that I've had to learn and I've had to pay attention to that I would have never thought for my own channel growth. Little things, and he puts in the work and he's thought enough about it, and the success he has is not an accident. I'm gonna say we now because I make stuff in there just as much as he does, and since I've been on board, it's really been really fun. But we make good stuff, but then the way that all the other things that happen, stuff that I never really paid attention to. I thought it was equal. He makes stuff in his garage. I make stuff in my garage. We both edit videos. We both put them on the same platform. His are doing so much better, and mine are not. Why? Well, it's because that's an improper examination of 2 people's work. They are not equal in any way. So for those people that have that kind of mentality, well, I built a bookcase and he built a bookcase and he gets all this. It's so much more to just building a bookcase.
So if we were to give advice, because we'll have, we almost have some sort of experience right now regarding some of this. If we were going to give advice to anybody that was thinking about starting into this kind of crazy venture of making and then trying to film their stuff and be a content creator.
Like Mark?
You
haven't said much.
I'm going to kind of grandfather Mark in because he's been around it pretty closely for a while now, even though he hasn't quite put out his first video yet. What advice would we actually give that person? Would it be to don't worry about the video as much, but just focus on the development of the skill? What do you think should be the expectation there?
Figure out what your intent is first. Are you going into it to make a career, or are you doing something as a hobby just to get it out of your head? Because like you guys said throughout this whole episode, if your end goal is a career, then it's going to be shorter stuff. But if this is a hobby for you and the views and all that stuff don't matter, then I think you'll be working on more things that the viewers won't drive what you do. You're driving what you do. So you have to figure out your intent first.
Yep.
And learn Premiere.
Final Cut's easier.
Shut up, Apple.
Coming from me, who I couldn't record last week because I didn't have some stupid external dongle for this new MacBook Pro. Got a new computer, shut down everything because I couldn't plug in a USB port.
Apple, our software is so intuitive. Our hardware, good luck.
Cords not included.
Hey, I heard you like dongles. I got a dongle. Put a dongle in your dongle.
That just sounds sturdy.
Why? If you're gonna make something, why would you call it a dongle? It just, from the start, it makes me want to giggle.
Dongleberries.
Yeah, that's one of them.
But for advice, any advice I would give, I would have to like give to myself. Is that you have to do the work. Like, no one's gonna give you free things. No one's gonna see your own. No one's gonna value what you do if you don't put the value in yourself. Like, if you don't make something quality, and if you don't display it in an engaging way, people aren't gonna find you. And if they do find you and you don't do something quality or explain it in an engaging way, then they're gonna leave. And I am living embodiment of that very premise.
It is funny from some people that we've talked to who get all excited about doing a YouTube video and then they do their first one and they come back and say, man, that was a lot of work. I don't know if I'm going to do that again.
Yeah, because it goes back to Mark exactly what you're saying. It's motives. Like, you're doing a lot of work to put your work out there for free for a bunch of strangers to either critique or to congratulate. And unless they're going to pay you, it's kind of empty. Like, you still have whatever you made in your house. You can enjoy it all day long. Like, why do you care what other people think? It was what we teach our kids all day long, right? Like, you should just be you. You should not be focusing on the opinions and the accolades of others. But yet, we openly and freely do that all day long.
It's really funny you say that too. One of my videos, I don't know why, but started performing really well, and it was mainly out of hate. People hated what I did with the build.
Which one?
And it's the chair restoration.
Oh yeah.
Really?
It passed 100. It passed 100K views, and if you look at the comments, about 40% of them will saying, "Man, that's terrible. That's not a restoration job. That brass looks terrible on the chair." Luckily enough, I don't care on that one, so it doesn't matter to me how they respond to it. But I find it hilarious.
So what's your advice? Don't put brass on chairs?
My advice is try to make the goal to have fun. Whether it's fun in the build and the development of those skills, or fun in producing a finished product in terms of a video or something you can showcase to others. Try not to think about subscribers and views if you're going to post it on YouTube. I think that is the quickest way to discontent, frustration, and maybe not even making another project. So I think that, especially at this point in time, and Wes and I have actually talked about this before too, where there's people that have started, after us, and their views and their subscribers are through the roof. And I think maybe it's just our competitive nature, but it's a little bit disgruntling sometimes. But maybe that's because we kind of like this. I don't know. I can't speak.
We like to be the
for Wes.
underdogs, right?
Yeah. I was doing it before it was cool. I wasn't, but no. So I don't know how much more I can dig out of this.
To wrap it up, what are we geeking out about?
Well,
Mark, what you looking at on Amazon over there?
Nothing. I'm
Nothing.
downloading the toys that made us. Geeking
Nice.
out. I want to watch. I've been seeing a whole bunch of Facebook posts from Machinima of the Transformers series, the Prime trilogy. You got Titans Return, you got Combiner Wars, and a third one. I forget what it is. But I think I'm gonna try and pull those up and watch those because they got a bunch of the old voice actors. They got Judd Nelson back. They got Optimus, and they just announced Mark Hamill and Hellboy with Ron Perlman are going to be doing voices. I'm going to have some Transformers viewing.
Speaking of old cartoons, I'm sort of geeking out because I introduced Samantha and Grant to several different iterations of cartoons that I liked as a kid. So they started watching He-Man, and Samantha's digging that. And I tried to get them into this before, but they're just now sort of latching onto it. Is the newer Voltron series from Netflix. Good. It's so good, yeah. We're on the 3rd season. And like all the shows that they've recently kind of globbed onto, there's some sort of transformation or like altering of a character in like the main storyline. So you have like Voltron, they transform into like a bigger thing, and He-Man, he transforms into a more powerful thing, and they're watching some spin-off of like Power Rangers, which is like got these little animals or something. I don't even know what the heck it is. I don't. I'd rather not watch that. It's like Mini Force something. Yeah.
Oh, that show.
It's garbage, but they love it.
Yeah. I hate the theme song to that show. It's like an 80s hair band.
Yep.
And the boys love it, and I can't get past the theme song. It's stupid.
And there's like another one as well where it had dealt with the transformation and like uniting of forces and stuff. So it's sort of an interesting theme that it's wrapping around. So I'm geeking out on that a little bit. And then also, this is sort of a tie back to what I'm also doing this week. I'm also geeking out about it. So Fatherly had me take over their Instagram stories for this week. And I've been in the middle of that. And it's pretty fun doing little 15-second videos. So far I've been doing 3 15-second videos a day. And I have to submit them to them the day before, which isn't quite as takeover-y as I thought it would be at first. It seems like I would have, editorial reign over them, and they gave me the first day's worth, like, to let me post them, but then the other ones they wanted me to, like, show them first. Even though, strangely, I asked them if... well, the weather was colder earlier on this year, and we had, like, below 18-degree weather, and I was going to try to make a snow machine, kind of like Destin did. And I thought it would be cool to do like a live stream on YouTube, Instagram stories, where you can do like the live video. And I'll be like, hey, I was telling them as a possible idea, hey, what if I live stream this as we play in the snow and, kind of show that side of it. And they're like, yeah, we love that. Let's do it. Okay, so you're okay with me live streaming where you have no editorial like judgment on what I show on camera. And then you want me to submit 15-second video clips to you first. There's a little disconnect there, but whatever. But I think I've had somewhat of a good response with the ones I've put up so far. So and they've really liked. Apparently, they liked one I did yesterday. I'm trying to like rally people to want to make things, and they took that and put it on their Facebook stories feed, which they have like 2.5 million likes on their Facebook page. So. That's kind of cool.
Good job, dude.
Yeah, thanks. Like I said, I'm trying to start off this new year with a lot of, positive energy and put a push towards what I want to do. So not be lazy. I've got a giant whiteboard that I put up first of the year with all my ideas on, sort of like Jimmy DiResta style. I can move stuff around, try to prioritize, and I want to put the Instructables contests up there too to sort of motivate me to build within parameters to give me a deadline and stuff like that. So
that's a good goal.
Yeah, thanks.
I like that.
What about you, Josh?
What were we geeking out about? My house. I've gotten to the point where, because my family's down in Florida now, my wife is selling the RV and it's getting fixed, so they're staying with my dad, and then when we close on the house, then they'll come up here. So it's just been me. So I'm crashing with Bob's parents because they have an extra room. So I have a lot of like free time when I'm not working. So I watch a lot of movies that are out in the theaters because they're just there. I went antique shopping the other day, and so I'm getting really excited about the house and like what it's going to be. And I went into Floor and Decor. The store has like tile and hardwood flooring and whatever. And this lady's like, "Hey, can I help you with something?" And I'm like, "I don't know." She's like, "Well, do you have any reference pictures?" I was like, "No." She's like, "Well, what's the room look like?" I'm like, I don't even own this house yet. I don't know what the walls are going to look like. My wife is not here. I just want to look around and be inspired." And she's like, "Well, I can't help you."
That's weird.
I'm like, I don't really, I don't know what I want. I want to get in this house and start doing. It's like, I've been wanting to make things and improve things in this whole, like, for such a long time. And like, I drive past the house every day, like, hoping that I'll just be allowed in. There will just be a big sign that says, "Here's the key, Josh," so I can get in there and start working. So yeah, I am definitely excited. I'm super geeking out about the idea of us settling down somewhere and having some normalcy and all the stuff I get to do to it. It's really fun.
Let us know when we can come visit and crash.
Absolutely. Who hasn't gone yet?
I have
John?
I'm geeking out about two things. First is that I got a sponsor for the Geek Builders channel. Yeah, I won't give the exact details of it yet. I'm finishing the agreement, but it's with I guess I could call them a t-shirt company. So that'll be fun, and they've already talked about supporting giveaways and a bunch of other things. So I'm looking forward to that, and maybe I can expand that. I haven't talked to them about that yet, but maybe we can get in on that too as a podcast. Second thing I'm geeking out about is the series has been out for a while, but it just came out on Netflix called Comedians in Cars.
Oh yeah, I've been binge watching those.
I watched like 3 episodes last night, and I love it. And I've always been attracted to what comedians do on stage and the way that they speak and the way that they think. I think it's been a big motivation and I've talked about it before about, teaching English and writing. But I love hearing the candid conversations that happen and the natural manner of how funny a lot of them are, and kind of like inspiration for what I'm trying to interject into some of my own writing right now that I've been doing a lot of. It's like, even, I can't be in the shop that often, but I can sit down and write words on a paper a lot easier in any situation. So I've been putting a lot of time into that when I've been able to. So yeah, that's what I'm geeking out about.
Celebrities in cars getting coffee.
Comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yeah.
Although comedian is kind of a broad term for some of the people they have on there. Some people I wouldn't call them a comedian, but whatever.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yep. Okay, so we all set? All right, so it is once again that point in the podcast where I say that we want to hear from you, and we really do. The best way to get a hold of us is go ahead and respond on one of the social medias or our contact page on the Making Geeks website. Right there on the contact page, please drop any questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions for the show that you have. And once again, on the on the homepage, that is, you have all the past episodes to listen to, and check out all the past guests we've had on the show. And I think we're working on a couple new guests coming up in the next month or two. So stay tuned for that.
And you can find us across all our social medias. You can find us on Instagram at Making Geeks Podcast, on Twitter and Facebook at Making Geeks.
And we'd like to thank our lovely patrons over at patreon.com/makinggeeks. And this time we want to give a New Year shout out to all of our current patrons. Not just Mr. Seth Williams, who is topping the list every month since this began. But Mr. Seth Williams, thank you, man. Keith Decent, Chad from Mancrafting, thank you. AJ Huff, Maker on the Move, Michael Rodriguez, aka the Home Gamer Engineer, Mr. Tony Rouleau, and Live Free and DIY. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means a lot to us. And if you want to jump on that bandwagon, head over to patreon.com/makinggeeks. Thanks a lot.
And you can find our own individual work all across the internet at geekbuilders.net, geeksmithing.com. I'll do that again. You can find all of our work all over the internet, geekbuilders.net, geeksmithing.com, thepiworkshop.com, and Asylum Designs on Instagram, Thingiverse, and Twitter and Facebook. And we'd like to thank everybody for hanging out with us. This is the first real podcast of 2018. And we hope you stick around every week. We release a new episode every Saturday. You can come by and get a helping dose of being a maker, being a dad, and being a geek. And we hope you all... That's really loud when you do that. When
Mark,
you're
your
rubbing
hands
your
are
hands
loud.
together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's how microphones work.
Well, you want some lotion, buddy?
Dude, you have no
Sandpaper
idea.
hands.
Do that.
Okay, let's try this. So everybody, thanks again for sticking around and hanging out with us, and we hope you have a fantastic week.
Bye, everybody.
Later.
Have a great week.